Thank you, Lisa and Louie. We will sing the Lord's Prayer meditation hymn, followed by Reverend Scott's meditation and message titled, I Am Guided into the Unknown.
This morning, just to get in the mood, I went to the Daily Fillmore. Does anybody go to the Daily Fillmore on Facebook? Okay, well, if you're on Facebook, go to the Daily Fillmore. You'll like it. And look back through the week, and on Tuesday there was a quote from the Buddha, one of the sayings of the Buddha. It was, if you wish to know the divine, feel the wind on your face, the warm sun on your hand. And with that, I understood what I wanted to do for a meditation. And so if you can just join me in awareness. And so I invite you to just relax and feel heavy in your chair. Feel heavy on the earth. And notice the feeling of air currents on your face. Be aware of how it feels to have your feet touching the floor. Be aware of your feet in your shoes. Be aware of your breath. Be aware of your skin. Be aware of the air in the room, and be aware of the air in the room being aware of you. Because there's only one. There's one infinite and perfect and divine creation, one universe, one song. We are expressions of the song of creation. All of it is us. All of it is me. All of it is you. The drop in the ocean in a drop. All of the ideas, all of the activities, every new moment is the gift of another moment of being one with the one, being one with each other, being one with God. As we breathe together, aware of that connection that holds us all together in this singular universe that I call God. Know that each breath is divine activity. Each breath is remarkable. Each breath is a miracle. And each breath is a reminder that truly the best is yet to come. And so it is. Thank you. That was fantastic. So this really is a happening place. And I am just kind of overwhelmed to have been invited to speak, and feeling the energy and the community and the commitment of this congregation to this organization. I'm just humbled and excited, and I'm really happy for Reverend Aubrey Lynn, who I know, I haven't seen her for years, but I know her. I think we became ministers in the same class. I hope she realizes how fortunate she is. So here I am in this happening place. What I really want to know more about is this belly dancing thing. But maybe that's for later. So I am a news junkie. I can't go like 20 minutes without running back to my computer to check the headlines and see what has happened next, because this isn't the only happening place on the planet. And every time I ask myself, what's next? Does anybody know what's next? No. You can't know, because it's the unknown. And I'm going there for a reason. The universe is made of energy and information. And then the information acting upon the energy creates the forms and the experiences that we have. So among the information, there's two kinds. There's the known, and there's the unknown. So the known is everything that has happened right up until this point. And you might not know all of it, but among you and Google, you could probably figure out a lot of it. So that's the known, and then everything that has yet to happen, everything that's yet to be discovered, that's the unknown. And where that places you is right here in this present moment, and you have a job, a function, a reality about you. And I don't know if you've ever thought about this before, so I'm going to say it. You are, right now, in any moment, you are the bridge from the known to the unknown. You're the bridge from the known to the unknown. I'll let that sink in a second. So, as I was indulging my internet habit yesterday, the thing that kept popping up was the March for Our Lives. And I was just so excited to see what young people are doing this weekend. It just was overwhelming to me that they could organize and be so clear in their ideas. And I thought about what I was like when I was in high school, and it was not that. There was none of that. I was just worried about, well, this is church. I won't go there. But I didn't have real big ideas. You know, Palm Sunday, I remember Palm Sundays, I would go to the fundamentalist church in which I grew up, and I had to stay, you know, the deal with my parents was I had to go to Sunday school, and if I went to Sunday school, then I was off the hook for the rest of the day. But my grandmother went to that church, and if it was Palm Sunday, oh, you have to stay for church. Okay, I have to stay for church. So I would go up and I would sit in the balcony with the other teenage boys who were being forced to stay for church, and we would sit in the back and we would poke each other and we would laugh and we would be just inappropriate for about an hour and annoy everybody that was sitting around us. And that's where my consciousness was. And so I see these kids that are really thinking about the future, what they're creating, what they're doing next. They are being effective bridges from the known to the unknown. What they know is something that they dislike, and the unknown, they don't know what's going to happen, but they're trying to be a good bridge, a bridge to something better. About a week and a half ago, my internet addiction took me to the headline that Stephen Hawking had made his transition. Stephen Hawking was regarded by some as the smartest man alive, while he was alive, to which he said, "Oh, rubbish." He was humble. And yet, all the other theoretical astrophysicists and and scientists all over would were just amazed at the ideas that he had and the contributions that he was making to science. So my wife and I, my wife who's here, being pretty in the middle over on the side over here, watched a show on Channel 10 on PBS about Stephen Hawking. And when he was a young man, before he knew that he had ALS, he was just a regular young man. He went to college, but he was so smart he didn't have to study, and so he partied and he joked around and he indulged his appetites, as young people do. And it wasn't until his body started failing him that he got interested in his ideas. And that's when he became that bridge, that amazing bridge that really brought together the ideas of theoretical physicists into a whole new and useful format. Excuse me. So there's a lesson there about being a bridge. He indulged his appetites until he couldn't anymore, and then he just went on to this incredible greatness that we'll be talking about for the rest of our lives because of the differences that he made. Now, there's a genetic reason for that, because in addition to being a bridge between the known and the unknown, we are also a bridge between being an animal, which is what we are, we're animals, and being the divine. We're a bridge from the animal to the divine, and that bridge is our consciousness. And when we come to this planet, we show up, little animal, and evolution has given us a predisposition to think about three things, and that is security, food, and sex. That's it. You know, we show up, we think about, okay, am I warm enough? I'm hungry. Have I eaten? Okay, now reproduce. That's it. That's what we're genetically pre-programmed for. That's what, if you go back through the history of the planet and every organism that made its way up through the evolutionary process to finally become us, that's all they were interested in. And then suddenly something happened and we got this consciousness. So then we had the conflict of being aware of the divine, knowing that we're divine, knowing that we can come up with incredible ideas and accomplish incredible things and change the course of history on this planet at any given moment, even while we're being called to do just the very basic: eat, stay warm, have sex. So when we come into a new thought teaching, when we come into learning that we are really expressions of God, that God is not some cosmic puppeteer in the sky waving a magic wand helping us from moment to moment. God is actually us showing up and doing what we have evolved to do, what this consciousness has evolved us to do. We get these grand ideas, and we want to create miracles. We have the prayer team, And in Science of Mind, where I studied, we have practitioners. It was the same thing. And when we studied to be practitioners, it's because we wanted that ability to change the world with one sweep of our hand, to be like Moses going down to the Red Sea and parting it. Next week is Easter, and every year on Easter they show the 10 Commandments on TV, and Moses parts the Red Sea. And when I became a practitioner, I wanted to be able to do that. And it occurred to me over time that in order to create a fantastic miracle, an enormous miracle, I had to learn to recognize the tiny miracles. Because trying to create a big miracle without learning to recognize the tiny miracles would be like trying to write a novel without learning how to read first. So, in order to be an effective bridge from the known to the unknown, in order to create those miracles, we have to really understand how the universe works, what makes a good bridge, what makes an effective bridge. And this is something that we're hearing all the time. It's being told to us all the time. You know, I used to wait for God to give me a sign, and now I realize that God never shuts up. It's just I don't listen most of the time. And the sign, the things that I've been told over and over and over again from the church that I went to as a child all the way up to the churches I go to today, and every news organization, the things that really make for a great bridge are humility. Humility, like Stephen Hawking saying, smartest man in the world, rubbish. You know? Curiosity. That's what propelled Stephen Hawking to the greatness, is wanting to know. Self-control, attitude, kindness, compassion. These are things that make an effective and strong bridge. So we have a responsibility to be that great bridge, and the things that I'm really most interested in these days for myself to be an effective bridge are all the things that I resisted as a young man, and that is like trying to eat right, doing exercises, meditation, learning something new every day, getting enough sleep. That's what it takes to bridge from animal to divine. Just those things, just those simple rules of life that you've heard over and over and over again. That is it. So if you're not exercising, exercise. If you're not sleeping enough, change that. If you're not eating right, who's in charge? You are. You are the way that God shows up in your life. You are the way that God shows up in your life. And that's enough. And so it is. I'm done. I don't know about you.